Very warm welcome to you all, and today's City to City Spotlight session focusing on Denver in the USA, all part of this week's Digital City Festival. Thanks to you, our audience, for joining us today. This is part of a series of City Spotlight sessions this week, all of which will be available to watch back on demand in the future. So do feel free to share the links once we've provided you with those. So far this week, we've focused on Sarka, Austin, Melbourne, and recently Dublin as well. And finally, we just wanted to throw a big spotlight on Denver. My name's Jeff Bocock, International Trade Development Manager here at the Growth Company in Manchester, which supports businesses locally, nationally, and internationally to grow. It's my great pleasure to host today's session and to introduce the panel today. So joining today's session, we've got Audrey Piers, who's the Business Development Manager for Digital, Creative and Tech at MIDAS in Manchester. Also joining us, Stephanie Garnica, Director of Global Business Development at Denver Economic Development and Opportunity Unit, and also Peter Arch, Vice President of People at Gymshark, again, whose headquarters is in Denver. So just moving on to some general housekeeping. Again, you're all probably familiar. All attendees, the microphones will be on mute, but as I said already, we will be recording today's session. We would encourage you to pose any questions in the Q&A function, so please pop those in there, and then towards the end of the session, we'll have a look and address those as they come through. Just to give you an overview of the session today, so I'll be handing over shortly to Audrey, who will give us an overview of Manchester's economy and the tech ecosystem from a MIDAS perspective. We'll then hand over to Stephanie, who'll do the same from a Denver angle. And then we'll jump into a panel discussion and look at some of those strengths and opportunities between the two cities, and learn from Peter, in terms of, his experience at Gymshark, stepping into Denver as a market, the challenges, and some useful hints and tips to help you as a business, again, thinking of stepping into the Denver or even the US market in general. So moving on swiftly, if I can hand over to Audrey to give us an overview with regards to Manchester.
Thank you, Jeff. Good afternoon, everyone, or good morning, shall I say, for our Denver audience. I'm really delighted to be presenting Manchester to our audience during Digital City Festival. I work for MIDAS with the Inward Investment Agency for the City region of Manchester, and we're here to support international companies to set up here in the Manchester City region. So let's start with some key facts about Manchester and Greater Manchester. We're the second city in the UK, so second city outside of London, and now we have ambition to be a truly global digital and green city region. We're one of the city region in the UK with the fastest growing economy, and we have about £63 billion GVA for Greater Manchester. The economy is very strong and diverse, and our key sectors are tech, which we'll go into more details in a bit, financial and professional services, manufacturing, healthcare, and low carbon as well. In terms of scale, we have a population of about 2.8 million people, and we can draw a workforce of about 7 million within an hour drive. We're very much the gateway to the north of England, as you can see on the map, but also to the rest of the UK. And we're about 2 hours from London on the train, with about 3 trains every hour. Across the city region, we have 5 main universities, and we have about 100,000 students here in the city region. If we move on to the next slide, Manchester has very much got a legacy of computer science research and expertise, specifically with the University of Manchester. So Alan Turing, who's very widely considered as the father of theoretical computer science and artificial intelligence, was here at the University of Manchester. And also the University of Manchester was where the first stored program computer baby was built about 70 years ago. So building on that expertise and research from the university, we're now the UK's top digital tech city. So how did that come about? So we had a research commissioned last year, which was an artificial intelligence and machine learning study to look at what Manchester and the other cities in the UK were really strong at. So they looked at the activity of digital businesses here, they looked at the academia research, and they also looked at the affordability and the networking elements in Manchester. And what they found was when you were combining those 3-4 criteria, Manchester came on top when you put affordability into the mix. And the first kind of 5 kind of key areas that Manchester was really good at and really came on top were e-commerce, cyber, service design, AI and data, and IoT. So all these areas are where Manchester is good at in terms of academia expertise, how many businesses are here, and what the networking opportunities are here as well in terms of events and activities. But Manchester also has a very, very wide and big mix of companies. So we've got a startup, very strong startup ecosystem. We have SMEs here. We have large homegrown companies, but we also have a lot of international companies. So from the US, we have about 130 large companies that do have big footprint here in Manchester. So Microsoft, Google, IBM, Cisco, AWS, who recently opened their second corporate office in the UK in Manchester, where they're looking at having a very highly skilled tech employees here, about 600 of them. And they used Manchester once they've done their diligence around being able to attract the best talent in tech. We also have a very strong e-commerce sector, which I mentioned as one of our key areas, and all of the 5 homegrown unicorns in Manchester are actually in the e-commerce sector. So Boohoo, a fashion retailer, AO.com, white good retailer, the Hood Group, which are kind of wellness and beauty brands, are also one of our unicorns. So 5 e-commerce unicorns here in Manchester. And we're also known for our creative and content and media sector as well. So the BBC and ITV have a big footprint here at Media City UK. And the BBC actually recently announced that they were moving more departments from London into Manchester, and mostly Manchester will become their most important digital base. So anything around the BBC iPlayer and their content online is very much drawn upon from their base here in Manchester. If we move on to the next slide, please. So we very much recognize that when international companies are looking to the UK for the market, they're looking at, if they don't have clients yet, how they're going to be able to approach clients and how they're going to make their customer base here in Manchester. So we just wanted to highlight to you a few of those market opportunities specifically for tech companies. So Manchester is actually a devolved city region. And it's the only one, it was the first one in England. And what that means is there are certain areas, certain powers where the decision is made here in Manchester. So for instance, transport, health, skills, Manchester has a decision making power to see where that budget and where those investments will be made. And that means that if tech companies are coming into Manchester and want to maybe kind of sell into the public sector or sell into transport or sell into health, decisions are made here. So it's an easier way to enter the market. You can go into the Manchester base, and then from Manchester, you can scale up into the UK. Other areas are around low carbon tech, with Manchester ambition to be carbon neutral by 2038, which is actually 12 years ahead of the UK target. Again, the e-commerce companies, we've got about 3,000 here in Manchester. A lot of the bigger e-commerce companies are very much open to innovation and very much open to working with startup and SMEs to improve their process, to improve their customer service. So they want to hear from SMEs. They may not be able to do everything in-house. So how can international SMEs help them to progress and improve? If you're selling into the financial services market, or if you can go back into one slide, sorry, thank you, Naomi. We very much have a very strong financial services sector here as well. The fintech ecosystem is the UK's largest regional ecosystem here in Manchester, and we're actually voted by Savills as the top 5 cities in Europe for fintech. And again, we have the likes of BNY Mellon, Barclays, who all have big footprint here in Manchester and open to that digital transformation and digital innovation. And finally, in the manufacturing sector, so Manchester was very much an industrial powerhouse with the Manchester Bees and very, very active. And obviously we've moved on from that and very much kind of a digital driving force for the UK. But we also recognize that if tech companies want to sell into and support digital transformation, support Industry 4.0, there is actually a big base of SMEs and larger companies here in Manchester that are open to that innovation. And there's also some local initiatives such as Made Starter that supports SMEs to bring that adoption and that digital adoption with funding available, with support, with mentoring, so SMEs here really know who to get on board for their tech innovation. The next slide, please, Naomi. So just in a nutshell, just to kind of reiterate some of the key points that I've just mentioned, why is Manchester the UK's city to scale? So here you're able to recruit your staff, your talent. We've got obviously the universities that bring on board the students, but we also have very much highly skilled staff in Manchester. The ecosystem is very established. We've got a very supportive and collaborative ecosystem with strong networks across all the different industries and sectors. We are very much cost-effective location. We're about between 30 to 40% more cost-effective than London, than the capital, when you look into account with your wages for your staff, but also running your operations here in Manchester. In terms of funding, we've actually now the second most attractive city for tech investment after London, and we've actually just overtaken Cambridge for that tech investment. So VCs, investors are very much now looking into what's happening in Manchester, what are the good ideas coming up in Manchester, and why they should invest here and what's happening here. Market opportunities, which I've just mentioned before, and Manchester actually has 40 of the top 100 FTSE companies. They do all have a base here in Manchester, so you can tap into them right here from Manchester and then scale up within the UK. And finally, we have great connectivity and we can easily connect with the rest of the UK and internationally. So Manchester Airport has about 200 destinations globally, a lot of direct flights into the US, not quite to Denver yet, but we'll have to put it on the top list to have a direct flight from Manchester to Denver. So the more companies we have on each side, the more we have a business case for that. And finally, on the next slide, we just wanted to highlight some of the support that MIDAS can give to companies of all sizes, startup, SMEs, larger companies looking at entering the UK, why Manchester would be a good fit for them. And on the right-hand side here, you've got a list of our services. Once you set up here in Manchester, we can pass you over to our sister organization, the Business Growth Hub, and they can actually support you because you then will be part of the Manchester family. So you'll be considered as one of the Manchester SMEs or companies here. So you get advice from mentors, accelerator programs, and investors, and you can scale up and grow from here in Manchester. So thank you very much for your time. I'll hand over back to Jeff now.
Lovely, thanks very much for that, Audrey. Yeah, lots going on in Manchester, a lot to offer, a big drive towards Manchester becoming, the premier digital city within England, as you said there, Audrey. So yeah, lots going on, and equally, lots going on over in Denver. So good morning, Stephanie, and warm welcome to you. So yeah, just keen to learn more about Denver and the tech ecosystem over there. So handing over to yourself, Stephanie.
Thank you so much. Well, good afternoon to everyone in Manchester. It's really great to be here, part of this program. And after hearing Audrey's presentation, I recognize even more similarities than I had initially thought of going into this presentation. And I'm also reminded of what incredible resources organizations like MIDAS and like my office are to businesses looking to scale and grow. We know our communities well, and we really are here to set businesses that are growing up for success. So it was really nice to see all of the great services you offer. Next slide, please. So I wanted to start, in case people aren't familiar with where Denver is located. It's almost in the geographic center of the US. So it's a really central location within the US. We're in the mountain time zone, so we're 2 hours behind the East Coast. We're 7 hours behind Manchester. But it really is a time zone that's conducive to being able to conduct business around the world in one day. And I highlight here some of the flight times from Denver, because what we've discovered is that companies can use Denver as this great hub to then be able to access the West Coast, the East Coast, North, South, and even global destinations from our market. So the location is a really prime destination or prime spot within the US to be able to have a company centrally located. Next slide, please. And Denver at a glance. So similar to Manchester, we are also a growing city. We're the 5th fastest growing city in the US, and we've been ranked consecutively by the US News and World Report as the 2nd best place to live. And funny enough, the top 5 best places to live, as Peter actually pointed out, who you'll get to hear from later, 3 of those 5 cities are in the state of Colorado. So we're a pretty nice place to live, and I'll get into some of the reasons why that's so moving forward. The city of Denver itself has a population of almost 730,000 people, but when you include the whole metropolitan area, it's closer to 3.2 million. And our whole state has about 5.5 million. So really within the Denver metro area is where the bulk of the population is located. The cost of living here is well below most major metro areas on either coast. So from a cost perspective, it's much more reasonable to live and here. And because of our great lifestyle and all of the companies growing here, we do have a large millennial population. They're attracted to the vibe, to the lifestyle, and to all the opportunities to get a really great job. And that seems to be the demographic that a lot of the companies are looking to hire and tap into. So there's a fantastic talent pool here. Next slide, please. And speaking of talent pool, Colorado and Denver as well, we have the 2nd most educated state in the United States, and that's 2nd after the state of Massachusetts. So this stat shows that 42.7% of Coloradans hold a bachelor's degree or higher, which is much higher than the national average. And in Denver, that number is even higher. I think it's 47% in the city of Denver. So it's a very well-educated workforce, especially when it comes to the tech sector. So in the state, we have over 130,000 workers in tech. Colorado ranks 4th in the nation for the percentage of overall workforce that's employed in a tech occupation. We have about 50,000 people moving to Colorado per year. And of those, the majority are headed to the Metro Denver area. So we're attracting more people here of diverse backgrounds from different states, different countries. So it's exciting to see our population diversify. We are ranked the #1 economy in the US, best state for business. fifth state for economic activity. So there's so much going on here that's really attractive on many different levels that all feed into making it this really stable and vibrant economy in which to set up a business, do business, and attract people to staff your business. Next slide, please. And this shows some of the companies that are located here. Sometimes Denver is not well known for its business climate. I think that's growing. A lot of people think of Colorado as this great place to ski, which it is. We have the Rocky Mountains right in our backyard. But because of our vibrant business community, as I've been talking about, a lot of companies are making their way here or establishing their headquarters here. You'll get to hear from Jim Shark soon. From a global perspective, the UK is our largest foreign direct investor, meaning that the majority of the foreign companies that have a presence in Denver are from the UK. We have a lot of locally grown companies too, and the logos that are here really convey the diversity of the types of industries that have a stronghold here in our market, which also makes it attractive to people coming here from other places, knowing that they can land a job in a company of many different backgrounds. So we have a company called VF. They are an outdoor recreation company. They own brands like North Face, Columbia, Vans. So their US headquarters is located here in Denver, really active community partner. We have Leprino Foods. They're an agricultural company. They are the largest mozzarella cheese maker in the world. They're located here. Western Union, which is a finance company, they do money transfers. They're located and headquartered here in Denver. So the list goes on, but that's just to show you, and you'll get to hear from one of our UK companies, Jim Shark, later on in the program. We are so thrilled to have them headquartered, their North American headquarters here in Denver. Great community partner, very active. So this just shows the breadth and depth of some of the companies that call Denver home. Next slide, please. Our tech industry, we're second in the nation on the State Technology and Science Index. We have employers in the tech sector that are growing their presence here, and it has a huge economic impact to our state and city. Techstars, which many of you may have heard of, is located in Boulder, Colorado, which is about a 30-minute drive outside of Denver. That also feeds into that whole accelerator incubator initiative, feeds into what attracts companies to our community. We have a technology association. We have a tech talent partnership, which is an initiative from our workforce development team to help tech employers tap into tech talent. Next slide, please. And a little bit about our startup ecosystem. It really is a vibrant, dynamic community, second city for the rate of entrepreneurship. We have some really cool groups such as Women Who Start Up, really trying to engage people that might not be as involved yet in the startup ecosystem, but to support them and let them know it's a viable solution for them if they have an idea. And I'm proud to say we host a really cool free Startup Week program annually. This will be our 10th year hosting it. We've worked with Manchester and with London and with other foreign governments to help their companies come visit us during Denver Startup Week. If they're exploring Denver, it allows them to tap into mentors, investors, potential partners, all in 1 week's time. It's happening virtually now, but the whole point is just to provide resources and examples and inspire entrepreneurs and let them know that they have the support necessary to be able to grow their business. Along with that, I'll mention real quick our Global Landing Pad program, which is something that my team in the city of Denver hosts, where we welcome foreign scaling entrepreneurs to Denver, and we put together a really comprehensive program teaching them how to start a business, what are some of the cultural nuances, what are some of the differences from an HR perspective, from setting up a bank account, and then we dig into more of the details of Denver specific information. But it's a really cool program. We host it to align with Denver Startup Week so that upon completion, if companies are here in person, they can go and attend a lot of these events, meet some of the people that maybe they got to hear from. So I'll send details to the lovely MIDAS team so they can share those with anyone who's interested. And next slide, please. I'll try and wrap up here. Our lifestyle, I will just say 300 days of sunshine. That's a view of our city skyline. It's facing from the mountains, so you don't see them, but they're literally right behind us. Peter has some fantastic views from his office of the mountains. We have 7 professional sports team, 4th most bike-friendly town, 3rd hottest food city. So not only is it a great business ecosystem, but it's a really fun place to live with a well-balanced, healthy lifestyle, real focus on fitness and being outdoors. Next slide. And I'll just wrap up with cost of doing business. It's very favorable. We have one of the lowest state income tax rates in the country. So if you compare it to other states, it's a lower cost of living and lower cost to establish a business. And so the role of our office is really to help set companies up for success by helping them navigate the different systems and connecting them to resources that can help them land and grow their company here. So thank you very much. I will stop there.
Lovely. Thanks very much indeed for that, Stephanie. I think we really seriously need to be lobbying United Airlines, which I think has the 4th largest hub in Denver across the United States, to get those flights, regular flights between Denver and Manchester, because, you know, I was really struck. I was just writing some notes prior to the call today. You know, 5th fastest growing city in the US, 2nd best place to live. A young population of the 24 to 40, 2nd most educated in terms of the states within the United States, and finally number 4 in the US in terms of the total population employed within tech. So you know, some really mouth-watering areas to get stuck into in terms of the discussion for the panel. So thanks so much for that, Stephanie. Very exciting to learn about what's happening in Denver. So Peter, if I can turn to yourself and Gymshark, who are obviously headquartered in Denver, and I'm sure our audience are waiting with bated breath to learn about Gymshark's experience in terms of setting up over in what is an amazing city. You know, just talk us through, Peter, if you can. You know, what was the decision-making process? What hurdles did you have to overcome? And equally, well, let's hear about some of those great success stories, which I'm sure you can share with the audience.
Yeah, and I think had I had Stephanie to lean on before, the decision-making process would have been a lot easier. But her presentation really hit on a lot of the highlights of why we chose Denver. It's a magnificent city that offered this very cool fitness vibe to it, in addition to all of the other tangible things that she mentioned there. I mean, let me ask you, Jeff, as somebody who's not been to Denver, what do you picture? What do you see when you think about Denver?
Well, you probably know by the way I'm speaking, I'm already very much sold. You know, clean air, a very young city, very vibrant. It just, you know, I'm packing my bags now. I'm ready to go. Yeah,
it was all of those things. We already had 48% of our market share in the US. So it was time for us to really take it seriously, to come with a US narrative to our business, to have a place of business, to have people here who really understood the nuances of the different styles, the different fashions, the different cultures, the West Coast, the East Coast. You know, at the moment, our business was being navigated from Solihull, a very nice place in the Midlands, but with one standard message. It was a Instagram post, or it was a Twitter feed that talked globally to everybody. Being in Denver, we are able to staff up with a team of digital experts who can really resonate and produce timely and relevant and intelligent information to our market through our digital channels. We knew that tech was going to be a very important part of our decision, and we looked at the schools around here and the couple of 100,000 potential candidates who could come out of those schools, and we are absolutely committed to forming a pipeline with the local universities. We want an incredible internship opportunity. We want candidates to apply for full-time jobs, and we want to get deeply embedded in the curriculum as well. We want to work with the business schools. We want our founder, Ben Francis, to fly out here and go to CSU and go to CU and talk about just what an incredible opportunity is at Gymshark, and really this incredible entrepreneurial story of his. I hope the people who are on this call know a little bit about Gymshark. Ben was a 19-year-old who really had this incredible intersection of opportunity, passion, and vision, where he saw a gap in the fitness market, something he was committed to every day, training himself, and decided to start making his own apparel in the garage of his parents. So we had this incredible opportunity, and basically started using influencers and athletes in the US, and it caught fire. And he didn't know they were influencers. There wasn't such a thing when he started, but it basically became the way that we promote our business. Ben was originally going to be over here in Denver for 12 months, helping head up the business. But obviously with COVID, that has not been able to happen. He will be coming over here very shortly, though. In lieu of that, we were going to send over a landing team of 9 people to help us build the culture in Denver. We know the Denver culture fits us. We needed to make sure the Gymshark culture was duplicated in the Denver office. And I definitely think that's, for me, it's one of my takeaways for your audience who potentially would be looking to do, if it is their first international office, it is really the planning that you go into to really try and duplicate what it is that makes you different, what sets you aside in the UK. How are you, this incredible company that has achieved success in Manchester, Leeds, Bradford, wherever? How can you duplicate that in the US office? And that has taken a lot of my particular time, actually trying to reduce and figure out exactly what it is. What is the culture of the business? Who do I need to employ? And what kind of characters? And then how do we duplicate that feeling, that vibe, that energy, that enthusiasm, and that kind of love for coming to work every day? So I've kind of gone roundabout, a little bit of your initial question.
No, that's great. And I know that you've provided us with a whole raft of information, which I'm sure we'll make available for people that are viewing this call. Just by way of background information, your journey or the journey of Gymshark in general in terms of setting up within Denver. So that's great, that Peter. And then and again, just coming back slightly to Stephanie's presentation as well. We'll certainly circulate within the promotional links moving forward a video that really throws the spotlight on Denver and what it has to offer as well. So that's a great kickstart. Thanks for that, Peter. Really appreciated. If I can come back to Audrey and from MIDAS and Manchester's perspective. Obviously, lots of unique aspects in terms of Manchester's ecosystem. Yeah, we're really starting to see these areas of commonality. But from your perspective, Audrey, what practical support is MIDAS able to offer those businesses that are considering investing in Manchester from a digital perspective that we've not touched on already?
Yes, of course. I mean, I'm a bit jealous of Stephanie's presentation around the 300 days of sunshine. There is sunshine today, but I couldn't put 300 days on my presentation. So yeah, I think we're just here very much like Stephanie in Denver. It's a free service, and I think as Peter said, having somebody who already works in the city, already has the network, the connections, kind of saves people time. So it's about being that agent and kind of providing you with that information and the key points, and say, okay, we might not know the information, we're going to find out, and then we'll put you in contact with that right person. So it's a little bit of kind of an agent, a shortcut, to kind of plug into the city, and doing as much work and business case and intelligence as possible beforehand. We're always obviously delighted to kind of welcome people, in physically and having the delegations. And I think it would be the same for Stephanie in Denver, is when you actually come to the city, as much as you can, share online and see images or videos, it's actually meeting with people and walking into the city and getting the buzz of what the city is all about. And I think we've had that with Digital City Festival over the last 2 weeks, as the UK is opening up, you know, after the lockdown. We're able to see that buzz and how much Manchester is obviously growing, and how much we have of that talent and that activity here. So yeah, so free services, you know, plugging into the accelerator programs that have really increased in Manchester. I would say in the last kind of 2 years, we've really seen an increase in those. So obviously the GC Growth Company and Business Growth Hub do deliver accelerator program here, and the Global Scale-Up program is about that internationalizations, hence the international spotlight sessions that we're doing. But there's also a lot of programs around cyber, health, Industry 4.0, and this is a great way to come into Manchester. And finally, we have a Hello Manchester program, which is a soft landing scheme whereby we get our partners to kind of give offers or incentives that we then pass on to our clients. So co-working space, virtual offices, you know, to start with at the moment, how to register your business in the UK, who is it best to speak to, and also business development organizations and membership to make sure you can get those clients. I think, Peter, you said at the beginning, you already had 48% of your, you know, share here of clients. So then that's why you thought, well, okay, it's a big part of our business. We need to have people actually on the ground to be able to serve that customer base in the best way. And I think that's what we found from companies as well, is if they do have clients in the UK and Manchester area, then make sure we have a team here to be as much localized as possible and deliver the best message.
Lovely, thanks, Audrey. Yeah, for those people listening in, I think there's no way that Manchester and the surrounding area can lay a stake claim to 300 days of sunshine. And those people that know Manchester well may say, well, actually, it's probably more like 300 days of rain, but I'm not sure whether that's true either. So yeah, thanks for that, Audrey. Yeah, great to learn a little bit more about Manchester's offer. Coming back to yourself, Stephanie, just to learn a little bit more, maybe areas that we've not covered about the unique aspects of Denver, and more importantly, as you started to touch on some of those practical support that's available through your particular organisation. You touched on the soft landing pad before as well.
Yeah, and I like how Audrey put it, that tapping into our offices can often be a shortcut, because it truly is. Since we are the resident experts, we do know the community, we know the landscape, we know all the different resources available that might be offered by fellow government colleagues or chambers of commerce. So it really is such a time saver to tap into offices such as ours. We can help plug people into networks, help them find the right physical space if they are going to have a physical space within the city. So take a look at the different neighborhoods. What are the needs of the company? What are the needs of their employees? Is it to be near transit? Is it to be in a location where mobility is very easy and people don't necessarily need to drive in? And then really providing introductions to different stakeholders in the community. We've invited people to be guest speakers. In our office, we do offer a few different incentive programs, and then our colleagues at the state government level offer a whole different portfolio of incentives. So even mentioning those to companies and providing them introductions to people who they can then follow up with and take the next steps. And for a person not from the US, even navigating the whole system of how do I register a business on a federal government level, on a state government level, but then I'm also going to be located within a city or municipality. So just helping distinguish between those different levels of government registrations, which aren't complicated per se, but just knowing that there are certain steps that need to be taken. So we'll often put together or sit down with companies in person or virtually to just walk through what are the steps they need to take, and then introduce them to some of our local service providers that can help them if they need to, for example, set up a business banking account but don't have any US credit history, or they need to start hiring people. Where do they advertise job opportunities? Or if they're looking to connect into the university system, like Peter was saying, what are some good introductions that could help them get plugged in there. In our office, we also have a workforce development team that's really great at supporting companies, taking a look at the types of jobs they have available to fill, and then helping promote those through their channels or tap into different communities or populations that have people with those skill sets. So yeah, it's really about being that shortcut and that concierge service to help business people navigate the system and save them the time of having to figure all of those different steps out for themselves. And especially if someone is relocating here, I mean, it's a big jump just to move from one city to another within your own country or your own city, let alone moving to a whole different country where you really don't have that network of friends, of family, of business partners. So if we can help on that front too, then we're happy to help them build out their new community and network here in our city.
Brilliant, thanks, Stephanie. So a very clear message to our audience there from both Audrey and from Stephanie. Fast track your conversations, speak to those specialists, and start those conversations moving. You know, in terms of your expansion into Manchester or Denver. Just want to round things off. Just a very quick response, if we can, from everybody. Just in terms of the similarities between the two cities. Again, those really coming out. How do you think, moving forward, we can build on these existing areas of commonality, ultimately, you know, to support those businesses that are looking at international expansion? So, just a very brief response, if I can. Push you guys for, starting firstly with Peter.
Yeah, I wish I knew more about Manchester, because I have been very enlightened by Audrey's presentation today. I left the UK 30 years ago, was in Kansas City, and I built an international business, and I've had an office in 13 different cities. And I can honestly say I've never had a welcome in Denver like I have in any other city. I met Stephanie over a year ago, and I had time to network within the community, and the city, the county, the Office of Economic Development, the Downtown Denver Partnership were all incredibly accommodating and just made us feel very much a part of the business community before we'd even started hiring. So I'm sure Audrey has got similar stories of how wonderful it is in Manchester. I can only just echo everything Stephanie has said, and I have a very objective view on this. You know, I helped select Denver as the city for Gymshark from a selection of 20 different cities. We narrowed down the criteria, and Denver just checked the boxes time and time and time again. And we expect to be here for many, many years to come.
Brilliant. Yeah, so yeah, do that market research, tap into that local knowledge, and you know, build on what are, as we've identified already, some great areas of commonality. Thanks for that, Peter. Stephanie?
Yeah, I've been impressed learning more about Manchester as well. And it's really exciting to find a peer city that shares that similar value of being extremely welcoming, collaborative, and helping set companies up for success. And I really do think, I mean, we saw this, my team just had a tour at Gymshark on Monday to see their new built out office space. And really their whole company is focused on their vibe, attracting their tribe. So they want to have a clear message of what their mission is, what their company's about, to attract people who have those same values. And I think the same holds true for a city. And it seems like both of our cities do have that very welcoming spirit, very collaborative willingness to help companies be successful and integrate them into our communities. So I think that's something important for companies to look at, is not only from a, I mean, of course you have to look at it from a business perspective. What location makes the most sense for you? Does the airport offer the connectivity you need? Are you going to be able to find people with the skill set? Does the cost of doing business and cost of living align? But also, if you're going to be moving there personally, does the whole ethos of the city and of the community align with you? Because if you're not feeling comfortable there, it might be harder to be successful. So I just say kudos to both of our cities for having these really cool, welcoming, and dynamic vibes that are attracting some amazing tech and digital companies, and just setting them on this fantastic journey.
Lovely. Thanks for that, Stephanie. And just concluding with yourself, Audrey.
Yeah, I'm just going to echo, what Stephanie and Peter said, which is all about people. We actually had a keynote session this week during the Digital City Festival, which was about digital transformation. And people will say, okay, digital transformation, I need tech, I need data, I need to understand. But everybody, all our speakers were coming back, but it's also about people. It's not just the tech is the enabler, but you need the people, you need the process to understand that. And I think that's very much what we see around in Manchester and Denver as well. It's, you need to make sure for your business to be successful, to have the right people. And it feels like we have the same ethos and the same kind of collaborative view of doing things. So yeah, very much kind of echo on that.
Great, thanks very much for that, Audrey. Yeah, and I think as both cities and throughout the world, as we come out of the pandemic, and we all look to build back in a much better way. I think some of these areas of commonality and working collaboratively together can only be enhanced. So yeah, just a really big thank you to our presenters and Peter, obviously on the panel today. Great to hear your views, and to our audience as well. We really hope you've found the session useful today. And as I said before, we will be posting out more information to enable you to tap into that information source or sources that are available to help you set up businesses in the future, whether it be Denver or Manchester. So wherever you are in the world, stay safe and enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks very much.